One of the biggest giveaways that lets you know if the person you're dating is ready to be in a successful, healthy relationship from their past relationships is if when you're talking about why their past relationships didn't work out, they don't put all the blame on their exes. It is one of the biggest marks that someone still has growing to do and healing to do and maturing to do if whenever they talk about why their past failed relationships didn't work out, they're always trying to push it off on the other person. It was all what they did, all what they said, all their lies, all their actions, them, and they had no wrongdoing in the matter. Why does this speak to them still having growing to do? Because I don't care what your role is in your relationship and one that did not work out or not, it says a lot about your inability to take accountability for the results you got in some respect if everything is always the other person's fault in a relationship dynamic that requires two for that relationship to exist in the first place. So yeah, am I saying that that person's ex couldn't have actually done some messed up things? No, I'm not saying that at all. Maybe they did. Maybe it was their ex's cheating or lying or whatever that, straw that broke the camel's back per se. But that doesn't mean you didn't have a role in why your ex felt the need to lie to you, right? Why your ex wanted to go out and cheat in the first place, right? Maybe you weren't showing up in a way that meets their needs. Now, their ex's decision to go do what they did is always their fault. That's on them. But you play a role in your partner, your ex, whomever's headspace they get into before they start doing and taking sad actions. And so someone that hasn't taken the time to self-reflect and say, although my ex might have done these things that weren't okay and that were messed up, but here is how I contributed to that equation as to why they most likely got there. And I own that. I took accountability for that. I acknowledged that to them. But the relationship still had to end because of what they did was a violation of my boundaries or whatever the case is. Something that speaks to self-awareness. See, when you take accountability, it shows you've done enough work on yourself to check all the flawed areas you have and to own those and try to work through those to be better. And people usually are not confident to stand in front of another person, someone new that they're trying to date and want to make a good impression with and possibly have a chance to be in a relationship with, if they have not done the work to work through the things that maybe they fell short of in their last relationship, right? You're able to take accountability for that and tell this new person you're dating, hey, here's what happened in my last situation. My ex did X, Y, and Z, but I also had this to own, and this is maybe why they did what they did. It wasn't okay what they did, but this is where I dropped the ball and why they may have gone the direction they did. Why can you say that confidently? Because you've most likely done the work to make sure the things that you had to take accountability for are not an issue any longer. And you're proud to be able to say, yeah, that was me then, but my growth is this now. Or even if you're not all the way there yet, you can proudly say you've made a lot of progress from that, right? That's someone that's okay saying, I take accountability for this piece. But if you haven't learned a lesson yet, if you didn't catch, we need to be accountable for how you showed up or your role you played in the results you got, whether it was something you did or something you did not do that allowed the situation to happen or whatever. If you haven't gotten the awareness and caught that yet, you're still learning your lesson, which means you're doomed to repeat some of the same things with this new person you're trying to date, right? Or you have learned it, you've done the things to make the adjustments, and it doesn't have any bearing on your identity anymore. See, we feel worried to speak our truth on something and own up to something that we feel makes us look bad in our own eyes as to how we want to self-identify and being good people. It's hard to feel like that good person if you feel like I have to own that I did this thing that was not good or messed up or whatever. But once you go past your flaws in some way, you can let it go and you can talk about the past and where you maybe dropped the ball because it doesn't define who you are today. And how do I know this? Because I'm living proof of it. I had multiple relationships across the years before I became a relationship coach, right? To where in some of those situations, I got done wrong on paper, the way it would look to most people, cheated on, different things like that, right? And where, yes, anything I could have done is not to excuse my partner's choice to go do what she did, but I had to take acknowledgement of, okay, where was I not showing up in the experience-wise that she maybe needed to where she felt she needed to go another direction to get her needs met or whatever the case was. That part I had to own for me. Not her actions, but what contributed to her headspace. Just like another situation, I wasn't leading right as a man. I hadn't learned that yet. I got left kind of suddenly or whatever. That felt like that was kind of messed up and how she went about that process. But hey, why she feel the need to leave? Right? She didn't feel like she was feeling safe and reassured that, I had things covered or whatever. And I couldn't see that because I had the blinders on trying to figure things out. That's my learning lesson, right? But I can own that because I've grown past that. I'm so much better of a version of myself now because of those learning lessons that I was willing to be accountable for and own so I can grow through them. And now look, I'm here coaching tons and hundreds of thousands of people to get the same results. So pay close attention to whoever you're dating right now. And if any conversations you guys have ever had about their past, they've never taken ownership as to their role in the results they got, big red flag to let you know they might not be ready for what you're ready for if you can do that yourself. And look, that's even a sign for yourself. You're not ready if you can't take any ownership at all in the results you got in your relationship experience with your past exes or your ex or whomever, no matter if they're the culprit to do the overt wrong things or not. And if that is the space that you're in and you need help to actually be able to work through those things so you can take ownership of the results you got or see the things that were getting you the results you got so you can get better results going forward, DM me coaching and we'll get to work. But if you're dating people out there and you have done that work for yourself, making sure you're looking out for those that can actually own their stuff, the role they play, just as much as you can. Let's get it.